Sharma uncle bought a flat in Gurgaon for 40 lakhs in 2010. Today he claims it's worth 1.2 crores. Triple returns in 14 years. Your parents nod approvingly. Beta, property kabhi loss nahi deti. But here's what nobody calculated. That 40 lakh flat required 8 lakhs in registration and stamp duty. Another 6 lakhs in interiors. 14 years of maintenance at 4,000 rupees monthly means 6.7 lakhs gone. Property tax over 14 years? Another 2.8 lakhs. And the flat stayed vacant for 22 months total while finding tenants. That's 4.4 lakhs in lost rent. Add it all up. Sharma uncle actually invested 68 lakhs. Not 40. And that 1.2 crore valuation? Good luck finding a buyer at that price in today's market. The real sale might happen at 95 lakhs. After capital gains tax and brokerage, he walks away with maybe 88 lakhs. So his actual return? Around 1.8% CAGR. Not the 8% he brags about at family dinners. Welcome to Mahayukti Finance. Today, we are destroying the biggest financial myth in India. The myth that real estate always wins. I'll show you the actual numbers, the hidden costs nobody discusses, and a smarter alternative that most Indians have never even heard of. If you've ever felt pressure to buy property, this video might just save you from the biggest financial mistake of your life. Let's look at cold hard data. The National Housing Bank's Residex Index tracks property prices across Indian cities. From 2014 to 2024, Delhi NCR residential property appreciated at just 2.1% CAGR. Mumbai, 3.2%. Bangalore did slightly better at 4.8%. But wait, inflation during this period averaged 5.5% annually. This means in real terms, after adjusting for inflation, property values in most Indian cities actually went down. Your property became worth less in purchasing power. Now compare this to the Nifty 50. Same period, 2014 to 2024. CAGR of roughly 12%. Even a simple debt mutual fund gave you 7 to 8%. A conservative hybrid fund? Around 10%. But here's where real estate investors make their biggest mental error. They only remember the purchase price and current market value. They never calculate total cost of ownership. They never factor in opportunity cost. That 40 lakh rupees in 2010? If invested in a simple Nifty index fund would be worth approximately 2.4 crores today. Not 88 lakhs after all deductions. The gap is staggering. And this isn't cherry picking. This is mathematics. The kind of mathematics that real estate agents and your relatives conveniently forget to mention. Let me walk you through every cost that property investors ignore. First, acquisition costs. Stamp duty ranges from 5 to 7% depending on your state. Registration is another 1%. Brokerage typically 1 to 2%. GST on under construction property? 5% without input credit. Before you even get the keys, you've already lost 8 to 15% of your property value. Then comes interior and furnishing. A basic 2 BHK needs minimum 5 to 8 lakhs to make it livable. Most people spend more. Annual costs are equally brutal. Society maintenance for a decent complex runs 3,000 to 8,000 monthly. Property tax increases every few years. Insurance? Most Indians skip this completely. Repairs and painting every 3 to 4 years easily cost 50,000 to a lakh. Vacancy is the silent killer. On average, Rental properties in India stay vacant for 1 to 2 months between tenants. Tenant finding brokerage is usually 1 month rent gone. And when you finally sell, capital gains tax takes 12.5% of your profit for long term. Brokerage takes another 1 to 2%. Legal fees, NOCs, society transfer charges add up. By the time cash hits your account, your so-called profit has been butchered. The advertised returns are never the real returns. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room that polite society pretends doesn't exist. Black money in Indian real estate. Why does circle rate exist? Because actual transactions happen at much higher prices. The difference? Paid in cash. Unaccounted money. When you see a property listed at 1 crore but the government circle rate is only 60 lakhs, someone is paying 40 lakhs in black. This creates a massive distortion in the market. If you're an honest salaried employee paying taxes, you're competing against people who have unaccounted wealth to deploy. This artificially inflates prices beyond genuine demand. It's also why properties in certain areas trade at absurd valuations that make zero sense from a rental yield perspective. But here's what's changing. Demonetization, RERA implementation, mandatory PAN linking, and increased digitization are slowly squeezing out black money. As this happens, the artificial premium starts disappearing. Properties bought at inflated black money prices struggle to find buyers at similar rates. This is exactly why many real estate investments from 2012 to 2016 have shown negative real returns. The black money premium that sellers paid has evaporated. And honest buyers like you shouldn't be paying that inflated price. You're essentially subsidizing someone else's tax evasion while destroying your own returns. What if I told you there's a way to invest in premium commercial real estate, earn regular rental income, maintain complete liquidity, and start with just 300 rupees? Enter REITs. Real Estate Investment Trusts. India now has 4 listed REITs. Embassy Office Parks, Mindspace Business Parks, Brookfield India, and Nexus Select Trust, which focuses on malls. These companies own and manage massive commercial properties. Office parks in Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune. Premium malls across India. When you buy REIT units, you effectively own a tiny piece of these properties. Embassy REIT, for example, owns over 45 million square feet of office space. Tenants include Google, Microsoft, Flipkart. The biggest companies in India. Here's why REITs beat physical real estate. First, they're mandated to distribute 90% of their income as dividends. You get quarterly payouts directly in your bank. Current yields range from 6 to 8% annually. Second, complete liquidity. Sell your units on the stock exchange any day. Try selling a flat in 2 days. Third, professional management. No tenant headaches, no maintenance calls at midnight, no society politics. Fourth, diversification. One REIT owns dozens of properties across cities. Your risk is spread. Fifth, transparency. Published NAVs, audited financials, SEBI regulation. No black money, no hidden dealings. For someone wanting real estate exposure without the capital requirement and hassles, REITs are genuinely revolutionary. I know what you're thinking. But I need a place to live. Should I never buy? Here's my honest framework. Buy property for consumption, not investment. If you're planning to stay in a city for 10 plus years, if the EMI is less than 35% of your take-home salary, if you have stable income and job security, and if owning gives you genuine peace of mind, then buying your primary residence can make sense. But go in with eyes open. Your home is not an investment. It's a lifestyle expense. You won't sell it to fund your retirement. You leave it to your children who might sell it at whatever market rate exists then. Never buy multiple properties thinking you're building wealth. The rental yield in most Indian cities is 2 to 3%. After maintenance, vacancy, and taxes, you're barely beating a savings account. Your capital remains locked while inflation erodes it. For pure investment purposes, the math simply doesn't work in real estate anymore. The golden era of property appreciation ended around 2013. Anyone telling you otherwise is either selling you property or hasn't done the calculations. Build your wealth through equity, through mutual funds, through REITs. Get property exposure without property headaches. And when you do buy a home, buy it because you want to live there, not because you expect it to make you rich. Let me summarize what we've learned today. Indian real estate returns after all costs are far lower than advertised, often barely beating or losing to inflation. Hidden costs including stamp duty, maintenance, vacancy, and taxes eat significantly into your returns. The black money premium has artificially inflated prices, and as this cleans up, prices stagnate or correct. REITs offer a superior way to get real estate exposure with liquidity, diversification, and professional management. Property should be bought for living, not as a primary wealth building tool. Here's your action plan. If you're currently renting and feeling societal pressure to buy, relax. You're probably making the mathematically correct choice. If you have surplus funds, explore Embassy Rate or Mindspace Rate. Start small, understand how they work. Run the numbers on any property you're considering. Include every single cost. Compare against a simple Nifty index fund. The results will shock you. If you found this video valuable, hit that subscribe button. We are building a community of financially literate Indians who make decisions based on data, not emotion. Not what Sharma uncle says. Share this with someone who's about to make a property purchase purely as an investment. You might just save them lakhs of rupees. Until next time, this is Mahayukti Finance reminding you to invest with wisdom, not just tradition.